first step in removing the starter on this is to get the upper starter bolt removed. Keep in mind that involves getting down to the transmission shift cable, and it's a lot of tight space to get to, so you're going to want to remove a lot of air intake tubes that are shown in another video. So if you need to know how to do that, there is going to be another video attached that will show you how to get those out. But the first thing we need to do is get access to this bolt, and it's tight, and we need to get this bolt loose. So we're just going to show briefly how to get to them. To prevent damage to the cable, remove these bracket bolts and position the cable and the bracket aside so that you can get your extension in the way you see. An extension with a swivel socket will get to this bolt shown so that you can break it loose, get the bolt out before going underneath for the rest of the procedure. Now, pretty much everything you see underneath is going to be step by step the way the workshop manual actually tells you to remove the starter. And I want to say up front that trying to cheat any of it doesn't work. If you try to leave any of the components that are going to be shown here in, getting the starter out is virtually impossible, and getting to the bolts, the two nuts that you'll see that hold the starter on, is going to be virtually impossible. So the things you see in this photo are all in your way, and we're going to talk about how to get them out of your way to get that starter out. So we need to remove this bolt to get this cable out of the way. And then there are a couple of smaller nuts shown here that we're going to need to remove in order to tuck that solenoid out of the way. I was able to use a 1/4-inch power ratchet with sockets on it to remove both of those bolts without too much trouble. And once you have those brackets out of the way, you'll be able to get to the remaining bolts underneath that hold the starter in. I used a small electric impact to remove the bolts that hold this coolant pump bracket on. And once those bolts are removed, you don't have to remove the coolant hoses from the pump. You can just pull that whole coolant pump and hose, tuck it up to the left side of the radiator where it's out of your way. That way you can get the rest of the components removed, and those hoses won't be in the way and they won't get damaged. Now, once again, you want to take these hoses, brackets, cables that you've removed so far, just tuck them off to the left so that they're out of the way in the starter, and they're out of the way of the oil cooler hoses that we're going to need to remove next. Now, Ford does have a coolant drain. To drain the coolant, like you see shown here, before you would pull the hoses off of the oil cooler. However, I not only found it almost impossible to get to this drain, but even to get a picture of it or to see it. So I chose to just pull the hoses off and let the coolant drain that way. However, you should note there is a coolant drain as shown here that you could open up to drain the coolant before you pull the oil cooler hoses off. Now you're going to need to get these constant pressure clamps loose. I did not find my special tool for doing that to be very useful, as it wouldn't crimp them tight enough. I did end up just having to use a regular pliers to pinch those clamps, get them off, then take a pliers to twist the hose back and forth and pop them loose. And once we get these coolant hoses out of the way, then we'll show how to remove the cooler. Now you're going to want to unplug this pressure sensor shown here. I was almost tempted to remove it, but it wasn't necessary to remove it, but definitely unplug it. That is to prevent damaging the sensor or the connector. I also want you to notice we've got everything tucked aside. All the hoses are tucked aside. I can see the starter really well. Your temptation will be, let's see if I can get that starter out without removing the cooler. I can tell you, if it's possible, it's not worth the time. And you're one step away from removing that cooler. So I would advise get the cooler out of the way, then we can get to the two nuts on the starter easier, and the starter will come out a lot easier as well. Now, to remove the cooler, we note that this is an Allen that we need, and it is a 7/16 Allen. It's pretty good size. I didn't actually have that size. I had a 1/2 inch, I had a 3/8, so I actually had to create a tool. So in my case, I found an old punch that had the exact 7/16 style Allen, and I was willing to cut this punch so that I could fit it into a socket and basically create an Allen wrench that would remove the oil cooler bolt. So once the tool was fabricated, I was able to use kind of an angled ratchet and break the thing loose, and it didn't take much once it got loose to just reach up in there and screw it the rest of the way out by hand. Be prepared for a little oil spillage, and be sure not to drop it so that we don't damage this, so we can put it back in after the repair. At this point, you can use a small pry bar to wedge right here to just gently pop the cooler loose, and then it's very simple to reach up in there, pull it out. There's plenty of clearance, so at this point we now have access to the starter. Now this is how the starter sits up in there, and you won't be able to see this easy, but if you use a 10mm socket on this nut and a 13mm socket on this nut, you'll be able to feed up an electric ratchet like this one and zip both those nuts off, pull the cable down so you can remove the starter.